So, welcome to our discussion forum. Now, here we faculty team from Erudite, Kolkata, myself, Joyanto, Shagnik. Shagnik will say about this VRC.
Hi, everyone.
And then Shudeep.
Good afternoon, everyone.
We'll discuss about this QA segment as well. We want to discuss some part of it, of these slot experience, whatever the different students from different center, they got this idea. We have already recorded and uploaded our first slot analysis. And from that, we are trying to move to our second slot for this day. We try to find it out that how much it is deviating or how much new things we can find. So first of all, I need to say that it remain one constant part, that is no surprise. It remain more or less similar. Slot 1, it is similar in compared to our CAT22, and as well as slot 2 remain same from our slot 1 part. Let me go to the detail of LRDI slot 2 analysis. In the segment of LRDI segment, we can find it out one thing, that is question, number of questions, set, per set questions, everything remain exactly same, which is the straightforward data. Like total number of questions, it is 20. The number of sets, it is 4. And every set, it has 5 questions, 5 questions each. All are logical reasoning set. We cannot say anything data interpretation set. But some kinds of informations about that table and charts, it is present. Level of difficulty, it is present perception. I can share with you that slightly tougher in compared to our slot 1, which was expected in 2022. The same thing it was happened. 22, the slot 1 was the slot 2 was the toughest slot. As of now, the same kinds of trend or not, we cannot say. We will discuss this one in detail afterwards. But present perception was more or less, if it is CAT22 level, remain same, tough. Out of 4, selection of the right one will be the key. Some people, those who have already solved one set and they are happy. Because
yes, I believe there was one set which was doable, moderate.
Right. And that is really too good. If you can make the right choice and make the one particular set done, then it should be really good to you. That is right. One perception. And maybe that out of these other sets, definitely one set you can reject. And out of these 3 sets, one set you try hard. And if it click, then go to the second one and try to do something. That's the way you need to proceed. So that is our idea. No DI, entirely LR based, and
no graph
selection.
Sets as of yet. Even in the morning slot, in this slot, no graph sets.
No graph sets, nothing. Entirely, it depends on these LR based. You need to read, you need to understand and proceed. Okay, let hand it over to Shagnik to discuss about this VRC zone. Shagnik, take up this part of VRC for you.
Thank you so much, sir. Right, guys. So let's begin with the discussion for the VRC subsection or the section. Same consistent findings. The initial reports, at least, they indicate that the VRC question pattern was the same as slot 1. That is to say, it has had a major change, at least in the verbal subsection, from the last year. So we'll talk about the details further. But the one thing that many students concur with is that comparatively, VRC for the second slot was the easiest section. Now, I would not call it easy. I would call it easiest by comparison, which means it was more
actually
moderate.
Other 2 sets was tougher on the basis people are perceiving.
Correct.
Yes. Other than that.
So it was more moderate, medium than easy, but it was not all that difficult as well. I believe the individual, though, will be releasing the full analysis tomorrow by 2 p.m. But I believe that the individual number of tough questions has reduced. Anyways, let's proceed with the exact breakup of question types and questions. So what we have here is basically that the total number of questions was overall 24 and the 40 minutes time as it was. This is for the RC. The total number of RC questions was 16. RC, there has been no change so far, even in the first slot. The same pattern as last year has been held. Total number of RC passages, there were 4 passages. And we had 4 questions per passage. That comes to 16. Total number of TETA questions here was 0 questions because RC has all MCQ, no TETA questions at all. The level of difficulty, there were 2 passages which were doable. If we had a lot of practice here, if we had the patience and the perseverance, we could have done up to 3 passages. This was doable. Maybe 3 passages, not completely, because here there is an aspect of the question taking some time after the reading, but 3 passages, up to 3 passages could be done. In the VA subsection, we had a total number of 8 questions. Jumble sentences, there were 2 questions. So there were 2 questions of each of the 4 types. So we had 2 questions of jumble sentence, 2 questions of summary, 2 questions of parajumbles, and para completion. Pardon me, there's a mistake here. There is jumble summary and odd statement. So there were 2 questions of odd statement. Now, because odd statement makes a comeback, I believe these were mostly medium. Para completion was balanced, medium and tough. Summary was balanced, medium and tough. And jumble sentences was balanced. Para completion was, again, many people said that this was overall tough. So because we have this balancing out, I believe that the overall sectional difficulty is not going to change much because of the questions. Or rather, we can say accordingly, the cutoff is not going to change much because of the questions. But comparing this to the other slot, saying that this was comparatively the easiest, we might see a slight drop in the actual sectional cutoff. But overall,
Overall, you also say regarding that theta question appear in which of these 2 segments?
Yes. We had theta questions here in the jumble sentences. These 2 questions were theta. And in the odd statement, these 2 questions were theta. This is 4 questions of theta, increasing just slightly, increasing 1 question from last year. Last year, only the parajumbles were theta questions. The level of difficulty of these questions was, I believe, a very balanced moderate, where we had about say 60% of it as medium and around 40% of it as tough. That's an approximate number, of course, but roughly that. So as I was saying, the sectional cutoff, I don't think it might reduce slightly, or it might increase slightly rather. But overall, CAT, it should not make much of a difference.
Okay. There is one, in my opinion, there is one twist they have inserted. In the odd one out, it was said that 1 question was compulsory. So that feature was inserted. The odd one out, one of the 2 questions was compulsory. You cannot skip it. So slight twist was inserted.
How it is given?
In the odd one out question, 1 question was compulsory.
No, so you cannot leave out that question.
Yes,
that's the idea. Yes. This is a move similar to what ZAT instituted a few years back.
That means you cannot skip and proceed.
No, yes, you have to
answer that question.
Answer that question, similar to GMAT pattern.
Right.
That
so
means
they have inserted.
It may be like that. The technical system, it has been generated like that. You are going through questions. Whenever it is appearing there, you need to mark, and then only you can proceed.
Right. Like it happens in GMAT. So that's a new thing they have inserted this year.
Okay.
So we'll have to see the dynamics around that. If we move on to say another, we skip that question altogether. Say we don't come to that question. Let's say that's question 15. You get to question 14, and then you go to question 17. What happens then? We'll have to see about the dynamics of that.
Is there any compulsory? Have received the similar idea in slot 1?
I don't think so. No.
No. Slot 1, nobody reported so. It happened in slot 2. We'll see if it happens in slot 3 also. But as you said, now question number 14, then 17, that option would not be allowed. That's how the software is designed. Otherwise, it would not be
Is it not
compulsory.
like that the students who was communicating the same part, it may be perceiving to the student? It is exceptional, not this for the
No, I have
other?
checked with other sources also. It has been same with all other students across the slot,
Okay, okay.
across all in this
Alright.
particular slot. We'll see what happens in slot 3.
So some part of GMAT technicality has been inserted here.
Inserted. Yes, that's a little kind of new or little twist is inserted.
Okay. Okay, let's
Anyway,
go
so
for our
that's
next
all
one.
about the VARC section.
Yes.
Now I'll hand it over to Sudeep to discuss the quant section.
Yes, the quant section.
Go ahead, Sudeep.
Now, quant section, there is no surprise in quant section as such. And as reported, there has been 22 questions here also, similar to slot 1 and CAT 22. Out of those, 5 to 6 questions were based on theta, as expected. Now, if we go to sectional details of the topic-wise dissection, we'll see that arithmetic had the major share, roughly 8 to 9 questions. And to add a little bit of surprise, now algebra proportion has increased. It was around 5 to 7 questions reported by different students. 5 to 7 questions compared to the previous year, where it was 4 questions
Your
were used to
pen
be.
color, because it is not looking that much clear. The background of it.
Okay. Just a moment.
We should no requirement to erase.
So arithmetic, it is roughly 8 to 9 colors, 8 to 9 questions, as expected. Algebra, it was 5 to 6 questions. And geometry, it was geometry. Now, in slot 2, compared to slot 1, there were a couple of more geometry questions. So this, I mean, in slot 1, there were 3 geometry questions. But in slot 2, people reported 4 to 5 geometry questions. Now, there was one number theory question, one or two number theory question. One is sure shot based on the idea of factor theory.
Achha. It was not present in our.
Not in slot 1. Yeah, even not even in CAT 22 also. So they have inserted number factor based questions in slot 2. Higher math, there was no question reported from population, convention, probability, function, graph, nothing. But some questions were from sequence and series, also logarithm. One question was from logarithm. So overall,
algebra based question is
algebra based questions, higher math, but algebra based questions.
Similar idea I have received that students were saying that algebra,
yeah.
Quant is
a lot of algebra compared to last year's. People are seeing a more algebra this year. And much lesser of higher math.
The mediocre students want to perform, they need to perform with this arithmetic.
With arithmetic and some bit of algebra. But even last year also we got higher math. Function questions were always there. Function and probability was always there. But this year functions and probability are absent.
No, first slot function was there.
First function there. But in this slot 2, there was no function. There was no fx based question as people are used to see. Now, difficulty wise, arithmetic questions are, some people reported some couple of questions were easy and others were moderate. So I would say the arithmetic questions are easy to moderate. So an average student should attack those questions to get a decent score. And remaining algebra and geometry, those are moderate questions. Of course, clubbed with some challenging questions also. But overall, it was moderate. So people who want to score high or get a decent score, their best shot is targeting the arithmetic questions and some questions on algebra.
So that should be their chance. My perception as far as the students' information is there, math section is not like CAT 22. It is tougher than
it is slightly higher level, yes. It is. So overall, you would say that
there may be a chance due to the reason of algebra. There may be a
possibly, because they are saying a lot of algebraic expression, which they are not used to see. So they are finding it a little challenging compared to last year.
Right.
Therefore, our estimate is that the cutoff should be in the close vicinity of CAT 2002, or maybe a 1 notch higher or 1 or 2 marks higher. but should not change. It should not be different, much different compared to last year's. So
We
these
will
are
make
best
our
estimate.
detailed analysis also afterwards, and
Right.
now this
So
is the
tomorrow we'll
first draft.
come up with the detailed analysis and the cutoffs after doing due research. So for the time being, if you have more questions or any queries, you can call us or you can write in the comment section. Okay. So with this, we wish you all the best for the slot 3, and we'll come out with the detailed analysis tomorrow by 2 p.m. So stay tuned.
All the best, guys. Slot 3.
Yes. Bye,
All the
everyone.